Welcome, Robert, in this season
Thank you.
when you're not allowed to celebrate Christmas. How do you feel about it?
Well, it wouldn't be right to celebrate Christmas because it would be non-inclusive to non-Christians, and so Europeans are learning now that they have to forget all about Christmas. Paris has canceled Christmas and New Year's celebrations that it had for years, and other areas are setting up big barricades. Of course, all of this is in view of the fact that Islamic jihadis have already attacked Christmas markets. They will likely try to attack Christmas markets again. There have been plots uncovered this year as well. And so this is the future that Europe has chosen for itself. It is something that didn't have to happen, but they have decided to bring in massive numbers of Muslims. And this is unlike bringing in any other immigrant group. No other immigrant group has any problem in the West. But when you bring in large numbers of Muslims and they believe that the non-Muslims are the most vile of created beings, as the Quran says,
Yeah.
they don't tend to have respect for
98.6.
the native population. And consequently, as this lack of respect manifests itself in various ways, one of them is that they target Christmas celebrations, and the infidels, being for the most part idiots, they go along and they just cancel everything. I don't know what the French are thinking though, because do they think that things are going to calm down and they'll be able to resume their celebrations in a few years? And then they're whistling in the dark. The cultural self-abnegation is permanent and irreversible.
I know. You're quite right. I think it's probably one of the few pushbacks have been the Babri Mosque case. So for that, you have to applaud India, I guess.
Absolutely, yes. That's unprecedented, and I hope there'll be much more of it because most people don't even realize, they think that the Islamic world is just the Islamic world and always has been. And that, moreover, it became that way by entirely organic means. I remember even reading, it was a book of museum exhibits. And in the explanations of some artifact from Egypt, it said, this is a Coptic Christian artifact from whatever, the third century or something. And at this time, Egypt was almost entirely Christian. But later, Egypt adopted Islam. As
Adopted.
if the Egyptians made some decision to convert to Islam on the basis of the compelling benefits and beauty of the Islamic faith, when actually, of course, this is not what happened in Egypt or anywhere else. Uh, Egypt became Muslim because the Muslims took power and they subjected the non-Muslims to so much discrimination and harassment with the ever present promise that they could get free of all that discrimination and harassment if they just converted to Islam. They made conversion to Islam a matter of living well in this world, while the Muslims were enforcing the Quran's statements that the unbelievers will suffer in this world as well as in the next. And so, as a result, Egypt became predominantly Muslim. But most people have no idea. And they think this was all a peaceful, organic transformation over time. And so, when they see mosques in various countries, they assume that the mosques were built in much the atmosphere that a church or a synagogue or a Hindu temple would be built in ordinary circumstances, that the people in the area are of this faith and they want to have a place where they can worship, and so they build it. That's all. Nobody or hardly anybody in the West is aware that mosques, for the most part, in India and in many areas of Asia Minor, in the Middle East, in Egypt, in North Africa, they were built on the sites that were sacred to other religions. And that was done in a deliberate way in order to demonstrate the victory and superiority of Islam, and that the Muslims have conquered and are victorious because Allah has given them victory. Now, the Babri Mosque, that's one of the only examples of that being reversed in the entire world. You have Hagia Sophia in Constantinople. It was the grandest church in the Christian world for almost 1,000 years. Now it's a mosque. You have the Church of St. John the Baptist in Damascus. Now it's the Umayyad Mosque. You have, of course, the temple, the Jewish temple that was destroyed in 70 AD. And then in the 7th century, the Muslims put Al-Aqsa and the Dome of the Rock there. And this is all to show that Islam has defeated Christianity and is superior to Christianity, and Islam has defeated Judaism and is superior to Judaism. And thousands of course, as you know better than I, thousands of Hindu temples all over India were destroyed and mosques built over them to show that Islam was superior to Hinduism and had defeated Hinduism. And now in this one place, people have fought back. And it's kind of like Israel, because Israel was Muslim land, and the idea is that Islam always expands and never contracts. And in this one area, they got kicked out, and also in Spain. And so this is why Spain is on the list. Israel is the foremost enemy, and India is the target of ongoing outrage and ongoing jihad, because these are the only places where the Islamic advance has been stopped and reversed.
Actually, there are several temples. There are several temples right from the time of Shivaji. There have been several temples that have been reclaimed. There's Triambakeshwar temple near Nashik, several smaller temples, and there's also the Somnath temple that was built after shifting the existing mosque there. That was, of course, dilapidated, but it was shifted nevertheless. And they built a temple there. That was right in 1948 between 1948 and 1950.